Okay, so welcome to this webinar today called Tap into Your Next Income Level. So this is for you, and it doesn't really matter what income level you're at. So you might be just at earning the very first $100 that you've ever earned, or maybe you've already earned $50,000 for the month and you want to go to the next income level. It's actually for all of us. So if you're a female entrepreneur and you want to grow your dream business, this is for you. And we want to not only grow that dream business, but we want to do it without the struggle, because it's the struggle that makes our life feel hard. And that's what we're going to talk about today, how we can avoid the struggle and grow our business. So a little bit about me. I'm a wife. So this guy that I'm boxing, he's my darling husband. And the picture on the right there is my family at a wedding recently. So that's nearly everybody. There's still a few people missing. Very hard to get everybody together. So there's 8 children and 10 grandchildren, with one more due at the end of the year. And that's really my big passion in life. My family is my top priority. And I wanted some work and some business that fitted around my family. And I wanted to be an online entrepreneur. For about 5 years, I looked at all of the different ways that I could do that. I was working for the last 12 years as a personal trainer, and I love it, but my target audience are not online. And I looked at other areas and I went to seminars. I spent tons of money and I still didn't get it. I paid someone to make a website for me, and then I didn't know what to do with it. I really hadn't figured out this online stuff at all. Years ago, I studied psychology at university, many, many moons ago. And then I did a graduate diploma in psychology and in counselling. And I went and worked as a counsellor for a couple of years, and I hated it because I was listening to all these sad stories, really tough stuff. And I felt like there was nothing I could do to help people. And it was so depressing. And then about 3 or 4 years ago, I started hearing about this thing called EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique. And I went and learnt about it and studied it. And it was like everything just came together. Everything that I'd done in my life just came together. It was like this was the missing link, because now I could actually help people. I could actually do things that gave them a tool that we could move through the stresses that they were having. And one of the things, as a personal trainer, as a nutrition coach, as a health coach, everything I was doing, I felt like I was telling people what they already knew. Everybody knows they need to exercise. It's the, why don't I just do it? And that's the why. That's the thing that the EFT addresses. And that was why I loved it so much. I've been in business for myself since 1980, and I've made really good money in that business. But do you know what? I never, ever had any savings. It was just like, no matter how much I earned, I spent it all, and I never had any spare stuff. And that was really depressing, because you think, oh, if I could just earn a bit more money, and then the businesses would grow and I'd earn a bit more money. And it still wasn't working. And then I started learning about this thing called money blocks. And in the past 6 years, we have gone from struggling month to month to having about $6 million in investments and bringing in an income that's enough for us to live on, and investing in both the housing and in the stock market. But I don't want to retire, because I've actually spent my whole life wanting to help and make a difference. And that's where I thought, hey, this is it. This is how I can use EFT and help people grow into that next income level, by helping people get rid of their income blocks. And EFT can make a big difference to your business and life. It's a scientifically proven method, and there's about 50 peer-reviewed studies from universities, mostly in the psychology department, showing how EFT can reduce stress and change our thought patterns in both the brain and how it affects the body. Now, that's really important because the cells of our body keep their old conditioning, the old thoughts, and that's what's causing a lot of the physical problems that people are having. Things like cancer are coming from those thought patterns, those old beliefs, those old stresses that are stuck in the body. So you might ask, what has this got to do with making money? Okay, because EFT is so good at stress release and all of those areas of life and changing your health, but it actually can work on your income as well. And that's pretty cool. So here's a picture of 3 of my grandsons. Aren't they cute? But that's what we're talking about here, because our beliefs and our thoughts and our feelings have been programmed in when we were little babies. We absorb everything that's around us. You can see these 3 looking quite attentively. So when we're babies, we learn to talk by copying the people around us. We actually learn to walk by copying the people around us. And of course, that means we actually learn how to do money, and how our belief systems about ourselves and about money all come when we're this age, when we're these cute little babies. We learn things like don't touch the hot stove, right? You can imagine I'm telling these guys, don't touch. And we learn it well. We often burn ourselves a little bit and we go, whoop, mum was right, better not touch that. But the problem we have is we can't choose when to listen to mum and go, she's giving me really good advice now, and when to go, that's not good advice. She's not right about that. So she's right, don't touch the hot stove. And your parents were right when they said, put your seatbelts on. And they were right in, most of us learnt to talk our native language very well. That sentence wasn't so good, but we learn, and young children can actually pick up second and third languages just as easily. It takes more work when we're older, but we pick it up by just copying those around us. But we're also picking up all of their other thoughts. They're saying it takes work to make money. You have to work really hard. People like us don't make money. There's all sorts of stories that your parents are teaching you about money, some verbally. So they'll say, what do you think, money grows on trees? But also subconsciously by just picking up that, watching the stress from your dad, watching people worry about money, overhearing those conversations. So we're picking that all up. And if you don't address this mindset, what's going to happen? Then you're going to have the same life that your parents had. You're going to have those same beliefs. You're going to have the same stresses. You're going to carry that through your life and pass it on to your children. And you have to decide, is that the life you want? And because everybody here is wanting to be an online entrepreneur, and my guess is most of your family weren't, then you need to change the mindset to believe that it's possible for you. Yes, Denise, I told him that if he's going to stay in the room with me, he has to behave himself. So hopefully he's listening to that. It's my little doggy, the little bark. Hopefully he'll behave himself. Okay, so what is the story in your family? What stories did your family teach you? This is a picture of me with my dad. Aren't I cute? My dad grew up in one of the poorer areas of Melbourne. It was actually Carlton, which, pity he didn't keep the house because it's not one of the poor areas now. But when my father grew up in Carlton, it was full of factories, and everybody in the area worked in the factories. That was It was just what everybody did. The factories were around, the kids went to school, and the kids knew that they were going to go get the jobs in the factories. My dad was in grade 6, and the grade 6 teacher, and he says, I wish I could go back and thank her, because she decided that him and a couple of others should not go to factories. They should actually go to high school and go to university. And my father didn't even know what a university was. He'd never heard of it, didn't know anybody, didn't know anything about university. But this teacher took this little group of kids, and it was only him and 2 girls, apparently, and she gave them extra tuition, kept them after school. He actually felt like he was being punished, and kept them after school and got them ready to sit an exam so they could go on to University High. And so that's what he did. She organised it all, set it all up. He got a scholarship to University High and went off to high school. And at University High, they were training people to get ready for university. And as I said, he never even had heard of a university. And he gets to year 11 or year 12. It's the end of the Second World War. And they come into the class and they say to the class, who doesn't know what they're going to be? And about half the class put up their hand, and they went, great, you're all going to be teachers. And they sent him off to Teachers College. And it was the best thing that ever happened to him, because he had no idea about anything, no idea what university was, no idea about, advanced education or earning any money other than just in the factory. And he went and got his teaching degree, went out and taught, and then came back and ended up as a professor at university teaching special education. And that's what I got born into. So instead of getting born into the family that's the story that was, everybody's going to be a factory worker, I actually got born into a family that said, go to school, study hard, get good grades, go to university, get a good career, and work hard for the rest of your life. And so that was the story I inherited. And I was well and truly on that path. I went to university and studied science, and that was where I was going until life took me in a different direction. But from that story, I want you to look at your story. Did you grow up in a family that was all, I can imagine if a family's been unemployed and everybody around you is unemployed, then you don't actually even think about anything other than how to get more money off the government. Whereas if you grew up in a family where mum and dad are both working as doctors, then the likelihood is that you're going to go and be a doctor. And it's that family story that actually takes you where you're going to go. And some of those stories are fine, but if you're wanting to break out of that story, what are you going to do? So it's the beliefs behind that story. So the belief is, people in our family become factory workers, or people in our family go to university and get good jobs. How many of us were from families that said, oh, let's be entrepreneurs, let's earn tons of money? And you can see that with the very rich families, that mostly they go into entrepreneurship because that's what their family story is, and their belief that, yes, we can be entrepreneurs and earn really good money. But that's not where most of us are going. So what beliefs have you got about your, being an entrepreneur and being in your career? Now, I hope you like this. I drew this using Canva. This is my first drawing. And this is a little explanation of how this all works. So down the bottom, we've got our ideas. We all have this dream life. We're going to have this happy life with tons of money and lots of holidays. And they're brilliant ideas. And we daydream about what our life is going to be like. And if it stays there, it'll stay in a daydream. It won't ever change. But then we might actually set some intentions, some goals. So maybe our goal is to be fit and healthy. And I hope that's everybody's goal. I hope you've all got that. And I know many of you have the goal to travel. Wonderful, wonderful world that we have. And let's travel and let's investigate and see all these fantastic places. And to be loving, to have loving relationships, loving family, you know, that's one of our dreams, to love and to be loved. Oops, I'm going to have a sip of water. So that's still intentions though. And our goals and intentions are fantastic, but we actually need to take them through into the real world. There's no point them just sitting there as good ideas. So you can see the one I've got going up the side there, to be a successful entrepreneur, which I presume is one of the goals that everybody here's got. And that's a fantastic goal. The trouble is that you've got to cross through this border called taking it from your goals and your dreams into real life. And that's where the trouble starts. Something happens when we try to jump from these ideas into reality. The inspiration and the fun that we could see when we were dreaming now turns into we've got to do the work. And we meet this opposition, all of our doubts and our fears and the worries, and that stops everybody. And we just stop at that border. Now, those fears are actually inevitable in everybody. Everyone experiences them. And yet many times people stop themselves feeling like, oh, maybe it's not my time. Maybe something's wrong with me. Maybe I need to go get some more qualifications, or I need to change something else, you know, because I'm having this trouble at the border and therefore there must be something wrong. So number one message for the day is there's nothing wrong. Everybody struggles with this border, taking things from their dreams to reality. It's a little bit like a rocket, and we often hear what, you know, the most fuel in a rocket is used at the very beginning, at takeoff. And so getting through that border, getting that takeoff is where we burn the most fuel. The problem for us, more so than the rocket, is that we have this thing called a monkey mind. It's the little voices inside our head. And those little voices are saying, you can't do this. Maybe now's not the right time. Maybe you can't, you're just not meant to do this. We start a business and we put our website up and we think the customers will come. Or maybe for some it'll be, you know, who do you think you are? You're going to start a new business now? And you're too young, or you're too old, your accent's wrong. You know, all of these reasons why we think that we can't do it are all our little monkey mind inside our head saying those things to us. And we've all got monkey minds. And depending on some of that programming that you got, it could be things like girls don't run businesses. It could be no one in our family has ever run a business. So what makes you think you could do it? It could be things like businesses go broke. You know, don't do that. We all have those thoughts that are going on. And those thoughts wear us out. They're actually taking away the energy, all that enthusiasm, all of that energy that you had to put into your business is being sucked out of us by this monkey mind. And you need that energy. You need to put that energy in to get this lift off. So success is doing what you said you would do with ease. And that's a really important part, because we all know, we all want success, and we know that what we want to achieve, but how many of us are achieving it with ease? We need the ease, we need the energy of the money. We need energy of time. We need the physical vitality. So that's our health, our fitness, that the good sleep, all of that part of us. We need to enjoy what we're doing. We need to put creativity into it. And we need the support. We need the support of our peers. We need people who are on our side, people cheering us on. And some of the online groups are so fantastic because we've found people who can cheer us on, even if we don't have them in our day-to-day life as far as physically, we've still got that support. So success is doing what you said you would do with ease. How does that sound? And this is where the power of tapping comes in. So EFT, and it's got its nickname of tapping. And the power of tapping is that we can use it to change our thoughts. So all of those programs that we talked about earlier, where our little babies were taught things about money, about themselves, about life, about business, they can be changed with tapping. We can stop the struggle. We don't have to keep having that energy and that push and that hassle to try and grow our business. So if any time you find yourself saying, I have to hustle, then you know that you're in struggle. And tapping can clear all the old stories. The stories like our family, just an unemployed family, or women can't succeed in business. So whatever the stories are that are triggering those beliefs that you have now, and therefore triggering the current behavior, tapping can clear all of those. And it's just magic. It's wonderful, because up until now, we've always had to try and change our feelings. We've had to struggle. We've had to push through, that just do it type thing. That's all about struggle. And we want to succeed without the struggle. I'm not saying there's no work in it, but the work doesn't have to feel like struggle. So what is EFT? So it stands for Emotional Freedom Technique. And as I said, its nickname is tapping, or another name you might hear is psychological acupuncture. Because what we're doing is we're stimulating the acupuncture points, the energy meridians running through our body. We're stimulating those. And at the same time, we're using a thing called cognitive behavioral therapy, which is a fancy term in psychology called talking therapy. So we're going to talk about our problem. We're going to talk about the issue while we're tapping. And the benefit of that is that as we talk, we get the issue out. And as we tap, we clear that energy from our system. We're actually changing the cells in the system. And there's been some wonderful, amazing research of just how effective this is. One of the researchers studied the hormone cortisol, and cortisol is a stress hormone in our body. So obviously the higher stressed you are, the higher your cortisol level. When people were measured, they took the blood from them and measured their cortisol levels, then they tapped, and then they took another blood sample and measured the cortisol levels again, and the results were dramatic. In fact, so dramatic that the lab withheld the results until they recalibrated all their machines, because they thought the machines had got it wrong. That's how dramatic the results were. You can imagine if you don't have cortisol in your system, if you've reduced stress hormone running around your system, how much that affects the whole health of your system. Another study that's just been done recently, and my EFT trainer is a lady called Peta Stapleton from Bond University on the Gold Coast. And she's just run a new study where she did an MRI scans on people's brains, and you could see their addiction centres light up. So she had pictures in the MRI scan of all the foods that people are addicted to, and she could see their brains lighting up. And she taught them to tap for 4 weeks, and they came back and they did the MRI scan again, and everybody but one had dramatically reduced their addiction centre. It just didn't light up. And that's just like, you know, absolute black and white proof that it's changing how the brain sees things. And that was just from 4 weeks of tapping on their own after she taught them. And that's what it can do for you. And it can do that for you in all areas of your life, but we're going to work with it on this belief about money, the stress that the words money and goals and all of those things bring up for you. So that's how we're going to use it. That cool? I think so. I think it's really cool. So these are the tapping points. So I know many of you on the call here have done tapping, but for those who haven't, these are our points that we tap on. So these are the meridian points that we use. There's a whole bunch of, you know, scientific stuff that goes into why these particular points and how they work. But these are the points that we're using in what's called clinical EFT. So that you'll hear many variations of EFT, but clinical EFT is the EFT that's been used in all of the research. So this is the one that all of the universities and all of the researchers are using when they say we did tapping. So the other points might work, the other EFT might work. I'm not saying whether they do or they don't, but I am saying that this is the ones we know work because this is the one the researchers have been done on. So we start with the karate chop, which is on the side of the hand there, and you can tap with 2 or 3 fingers, and we use that spot for a thing called the setup statement. So it's where we're going to tell our brain what we're working on. And then we actually go down and start on the eyebrow point. So that's a spot between your nose and your eyebrow, and you tap on your face with about 2 fingers. So firmly, but don't hurt yourself. It's only just a firm tapping. So there in the eyebrow spot. The next spot's the side of the eye. So on the bone, not on any soft spots there, beside the eye. Then under the eye, again on the bone, right under the middle of the eye. Under the nose is literally there on top of the lip. On the chin point. Now the chin point is called chin, but it's actually the crease under the lip. So really under lip spot would be better. The collarbone spot, as you can see, it's down from the collarbone and in from that bone in the middle called a sternum. So if you think about 2 or 3 centimetres down and 2 or 3 centimetres in, and if you use 3 or 4 fingers for that spot, then you're likely to hit it. So rather than worrying about exactly where it is, I've actually got a little electric tool that can actually beeps when you hit the spots. It's really cool. So that's how much energy is being produced by these spots. You can actually measure it by just a little handheld tool. The next spot's under the arm, and for us women, it's at the top of the bra strap. So under the arm, and then the last spot is on the very top of your head. And you can sort of pat the top of your head. So they're your tapping spots. Okay. Now, let's see what we're going to tap on today. I want you to think about what is your income that you've earned in the last 12 months. What's the current income? Or if you want to do monthly, if you're wanting to increase your monthly income. So first number we need to know is what is the current income, because if we want to increase it, we actually have to know what the current one is. And if you've got a piece of paper there, write that number down. And then I want you to write down what is the next income level for you. So as I said at the beginning, you might have only earned $100 in your business and your dream income is $1,000 for the month. That's great. You write that down. And I know some people have earned $50,000 for the month, and their dream income will be more like the $100,000 for the month. But everybody's at their own level. So write down your current income level and your next income level. And then the last one I want you to write down is your dream income. So where do you want your business to be in 2 to 5 years? Where is it going? So for some, it might be the $100,000 for the year. For others, it might be the $1 million for the year. Write those numbers down. Now, how do you feel writing those down? What thoughts came up? And this is where you can start writing. So let me know what thoughts came up. How did that feel? How did it feel writing down your current income level? Did that feel frustrating, disappointing, or did it feel good? Did it feel like, oh, that's okay for now, but I need to do better? And your next income level, and of course this is the important one for today. What is the next income level? So if you made $5,000 last month and you'd like to take it to $7,000, does that feel possible? Does that feel like it's a real number? How are you going to do it? So I've got a few answers coming in. It still feels like I can't read. It feels like I might not make it. It might be too tough. That's right. So even repeating the same income level you had this month, it brings up a like, well, I did it 1 month, but there's no way I can do it for a second month in a row. And I know that one. Suzanne's saying she feels tense. Is this a real figure? That's right. It's like, you know, we can talk about it and you can hear other people, but when you look at it, you go, really? Can I really do that? Oh, I don't think so. Tasha's saying, when I write my current income level, I feel bad that it doesn't feel like enough. That's right. So as we're making more money, then there's this like, oh, you know, aren't I being greedy that I, you know, want more than this? You know, shouldn't I be able to live on this amount of money? And of course, that comes down to some of those other money mindset things that when I was in business and if I could just double my income, everything would be fine. And I doubled my income and everything wasn't fine because the income's only part of the money mindset story. And there's a whole bunch more about spending it and saving it and all of those issues that come into it. And then, you know, feel like, you know, can I do it again? And should I have this much money? And there's an interesting, one of our many interesting beliefs is, you know, aren't I greedy if I have this much? And that comes down to a thinking that if you have this much, somehow other people haven't got it. Whereas, of course, it's like the whole thing about food, you know, eat all the food on your plate because think of the poor starving people in Africa. Well, me overeating here wasn't going to help the starving. It didn't help the starving people in Africa at all. And we need to make that income, and we need to be looking at how we're supporting people who aren't for reasons that are beyond their control. So what else have we got here? I don't think it'll happen. Yeah. So I can feel all those emotions. I don't think it will happen. I don't think I can do it again. I like this one, Jade. I'm worried that more money will mean more work and I'm busy enough already. Exactly. That was that saying that I wanted to really emphasize for you, that success is being successful with ease. So it's an extra bit. So it's not just making more money, but imagine making more money and it's easier. That right, Denise? Imagine that. Denise is discovering that she can make more money and have more free time. Okay, so here's some other money stories. So being successful in the past and ripped off by partners. Yes, so that story about people were going to rip you off. Rich people are greedy. There's a whole bunch of stories that come with getting more money. And if I have more money, then I'm going to have to protect it. I'm going to have to worry about it. I'm going to have to stress about it. Well, again, that's not being successful with ease, is it? All right. And of course, big dreams, big dream income, you think, well, who am I? Like, I don't deserve this. Like, why me? I'm not worthy for this. And those, who am I? I'm not worthy. They are definitely some of that stuff that sits at that border. And there's a trick for that border, that every time you have a new dream and a new goal, you get stuck at that border again. It's not like you've broken through that barrier and then you've broken through forever. Every time we want to upgrade our income and we're taking it to the next level, it would be, we find that we're still hearing those same mind monkeys. And it's frustrating, but once you know that that's what it is, it's just the border and the monkeys come out to play, and you've got to calm down the monkeys and keep going through the border, and it's possible. Okay, so some people are getting some big ahas already. Great, that's fantastic. And it's scary. It's scary to grow to the next level. What does it mean about you? And it seems unreachable. Okay, so let's go and tap these away, hey everybody, because these are all just things that can be tapped away. So yeah, what thoughts did you have with the numbers? Do you feel it's possible? Oh, this one, what can you hear your family saying? So can you hear that, oh, business is dangerous, you'll go broke, or family stories about people who did go broke in business, and all of those feelings. So I want you to feel the feelings and look at that next income level, see how true that is for you, and put a number beside it. So Val said the one, who do you think you are? So many of us will relate to that one. Who do you think you are? You think you can earn tons of money in an online entrepreneur. Who do you think you are? So that's fantastic. They're the things that we've grown up feeling and believing and hearing, and they're the stuff that we're going to tap away. So let's do some tapping. All right, you ready? So I've got a diagram there for you if you don't know the spots, and we're going to tap on all of those beliefs. So think about the number. Think about the number that you want to earn, your income, and then how true do you feel it is? So 10 means it's not true at all. There's no way, all of those feelings of who do I think I am? I can't do it. It's too high. There's never enough money. We'll always be poor. Absolutely. All of those. And rich people are horrible. That's right. That's another one. So that's a 10. And a 1 is, no, I've got this covered. The next month you're going to see me do it. If that's the case, then your goal needs to be bigger. Okay, so we're going to tap. We're going to start on the karate chop point, and we're going to say that. So even though I don't feel I can make this, even though I really don't know how I can get to this next income level, and I feel really scared, it feels so stressful, but I love and accept how I feel. Okay, we tap on the side again. Just repeat what I'm saying. Even though I feel that this is too hard, I would have to work so hard to achieve this. And I've struggled enough already. I'm not sure I can do more struggle. But I love and accept how I feel. Even though I'm worried that going to the next income level just makes me greedy, I should be grateful for where I am. I've always been poor. And I should be able to just accept that that's the way life is. But I would really, really like to have a bit more money. And I'm really sick of this struggle. And I'm tired and I want to change the story. And I love and accept how I feel. All right. And so now we go to that eyebrow spot and we just do a little summary of all the things that we've said. So this is so stressful. Who do you think you are? I've always been poor. What makes me think that's going to change? I don't feel authentic if I charge money for what I do. I should be just able to give this away for free. I want to help people. But I need the money. I feel so greedy. So up on the top of the head. So we're just changing spots every time that we say a sentence. So on the top of your head, I feel so selfish. I feel immoral. It's greedy to have more money than I absolutely need. I'm so scared. How am I going to do that? If I charge for people, they might think I'm ripping them off. I've got these big dreams, but I don't know if I deserve it. There's so many poor people out there. Maybe I'm greedy if I earn more than my fair share. I don't deserve it. Who do I think I am? What have I done to earn this much money? All those stories that I grew up with. All of those problems that my parents had. All the fear about money. Oh, it feels so stressful. I'd have to pay more tax. I don't like paying tax. I need to be more responsible with my money. Oh no, I've got to take care of the money if I get more. People might rip me off. All of the people who want my money will come and get it. How on earth am I going to achieve that? I can't do it. I can't grow another bit in my business. And on top of the head, this all feels way too hard. Okay, have a break. I don't know about you, but I just found myself burping then, and burping's a good sign that you're actually clearing some stuff. So crying, obviously, is clearing emotions, but so is coughing, burping, sneezing. All of those things are all part of the physical release from our body. So how did everybody go? Looking back at that income now and the numbers you wrote down, and then you wrote down the number of, 10 being that there's no way you're going to achieve it, and 1 being, yes, I can. What was the number and what is the number now? Does it feel just a little bit more like you might be able to do it? Sorry, Jade. So I saw from Jade, does it matter which hand I use? No, you can use either hand and you can swap when one gets tired. Thanks, Maria, for answering that. So how does everybody feel from that? Can you feel a change? So Suzanne, you still feel quite stressed? Okay, yep. One of the important things with tapping is to tap on your words. So your story, your feelings. And obviously I was just doing a bit of everybody's words. So I'm not expecting sort of massive drops in people necessarily. But yeah, keep tapping on those, particularly your story, your words. All right, so we've got a few shifts, but a bit. All right, let's do another minute or so, and we're going to do just stress, okay? So stress is such a big issue when it comes to making money, because when you're stressed, your brain goes into the flight, fight, or freeze response. And freeze is actually a fairly common one when it comes to our business, because that's about, I don't think I can do it, this is too hard, and you just freeze. You can't do anything. It's all just too hard. And then what happens is the blood flows away from the thinking part, the creative part of your brain. We all know that feeling when we have, a near car accident and you can feel the stress going to your hands and feet and your whole body gets anxious and your heart rate increases and your breathing increases. And that's the stress response. But one of the things that happen when we're doing something that's scary is that we go into this freeze response, and it stops us from being able to do what we know we should be doing, but we just stop. And that's the stress. So as we calm the stress down, the blood can flow back to the brain, can flow back to the thinking part of the brain, the creative part of the brain, and you'll be able to do your business, do all of that wonderful stuff, that things where I was talking about before, about the energy. We need to look after that creative energy and that emotional energy. So let's just tap on stress. So we've got someone who cried and burped. Yep, that's good. That's good. Lots of release happening. All right, so we'll just start with the eyebrow point, because we've done the setup. We know we're talking about the money in our business. All right, so beside the eyebrow, I feel stressed. Beside the eye, I can feel all this stress all over my body. Under the eye, I can feel it in my chest. Under the nose, I feel it all over my body. I can feel the stress in my shoulders. And your collarbone spot, I feel that stress in my neck and my head. Under the arm, stress all over my body. On top of the head, I feel stressed. Eyebrow spot, I don't think I can make this money. I don't see how on earth I'm going to achieve this. Under the eye, money is so stressful. Under the nose, there's so much stress in my life around money. On the chin, I feel this overwhelming stress. And on the collarbone, it just feels overwhelming. Under the arm, I wish I didn't have to make money. I wish it would just disappear. Top of the head, money is so stressful. The eyebrow, all of these stories about how hard it is to make money. All of the stories that I grew up with in my family about money and stress and problems and being ripped off. It's just overwhelming. And I can feel this stress all through my body. I don't see how I'm ever going to make enough money to live on, let alone gigantic amounts. It's so difficult. And I'm so stressed. And then on top of your head, we're going to finish with, but I love and accept how I feel. On top of your head. Okay, now take a deep breath and breathe it out. And let me know how that feels now. Did that reduce some of the stress levels? Much better. Fantastic, Renee. Well, I'm a millionaire already. And that's it. You have to believe it before you will see it. And you can never achieve something that you don't believe you can achieve. There's just no way. Great, Suzanne, down to a 6. Fantastic. Keep tapping, because obviously a 6 is still reasonably high, but it's good to hear that it's down. So keep tapping on all of your words. And a few people said, yeah, some of the words didn't resonate. That was fine. I was doing everybody's words, obviously. And so Denise Litchfield saying that she added some positive statements. Denise has been doing lots of tapping. She's one of my very special VIPs, and she's a wonderful VIP because she does all her homework. And she's had some amazing results with her tapping. And the latest story I'll tell of Denise is where she had a dream car, and she went and looked at it in the showroom, and she didn't even get in to sit in the car, because that's a luxury car that's not suitable for a person like her. And so Denise has given me permission to share this story, by the way. I don't go around just telling stories on everybody, but this is a wonderful story, because she went and we had a tapping session on this luxury car and how she didn't deserve it. And her homework was to go and test drive the car. And the next thing I hear is that she's bought it. So imagine that, from 1 week not even being able to sit in the car to the next week buying it. And that's the sort of change that tapping can bring into your life. So hopefully that's given you a little bit of a feel for what it's like, and how much tapping can change that stress response, and also those beliefs about whether you can take yourself to the next income level and how it's going to affect you. All right, so type in any questions you've got. I've gone a fraction over time. Oh, not yet, but I will. So your mind monkey will always be trying to keep you where you are. It's always trying to keep you safe. It thinks that if you stay where you are, you're going to be safe. It's your choice if you're going to listen to it or not. I like that quote. So where are you going to go? If you're choosing not to listen to that mind monkey and you want to grow your business, I have this wonderful membership program for people. It's called Mind Matters, and you can sign up for it, and these modules that are like self-study, but it's me talking you through all of the different issues, things like stress, things like going to the next income level, tax, all of those things. All right, Julie, good to see you. I'll see you again soon. So all of those are in there. All of the things that people are going to run into in their business. Denise, you're going to do the tax models. Yes. So we do this wonderful thing. We grow people's business and then they have to pay tax. And then if you grow your business even more, you're going to have to pay GST. And all of those modules are in this Mind Matters. So helping you overcome those blocks as they come up in your business. There's 7 modules available when you first sign up, and every month 4 more modules are put into the group. We also do 1 live group call every month, and Julie Gibbons, who I don't think's on the call today, but she's been doing those live tappings in the group, and even though it's a group, obviously only a few people turn up, and you get me for hardly any money whatsoever. And of course, we have our private Facebook group where you can ask questions and I will be there to support you. And that's right. And for signing up today, we've got extra special bonus where we've got 3 live calls in the next 2 weeks. So we will do what we've done today, but obviously on the issues that the people who are on the live calls will do. The live calls will be on Zoom and they're in the Mind Matters Facebook group of how to log into that. So that's an extra special for signing up today. So normally we do 1 live group call every month. All right, and it costs $29 a month, or you can pay for the year for $290. So that's like, 2 private sessions with me and you get me for the whole year. It's absolutely wonderful. And so, yeah, type in any questions. And I had a share challenge, which I'm so wrapped. Everybody did a fantastic job of sharing. But Maria Davies, you win. You're my winner today. So Maria Davies, I don't actually think you're on the call, but Maria shared with the most number of people and she got the most number of, she got tons of entries into the draw. And so Maria, you are now a member of my Mind Matters group and will be able to come and join in the live calls. So congratulations. And anybody with any questions? So Dave, you can type in that. Oh, I can type that in. So Maria Davies. So I really appreciate everybody sharing, of the share challenge. Yay. There's only a few members in the Mind Matters group at the moment. So all my VIPs get membership into it automatically as part of their membership. And I've got 3 VIPs, so there's 3 in there. And there's a couple of other people who come and go. Yeah, Denise is one of them. So the calls, the live calls, because there's only a few people in there, I do try and make them at a time that suits everybody, or as many people as I can. At the moment, I've got one booked for Monday the 21st at 12 o'clock. But if people would prefer a different time, then let me know and we'll maneuver things around. All right. So Dave's put up the link there for you to join up. Do you have, yes. So yes, the live calls are recorded. I do them on Zoom and record them and put them on the group in the Mind Matters Facebook group so that people can come and hear what was discussed. I have done, sometimes I've only had one person on the call, and I know we did a very private one once and we edited out some of it, but the rest of it was put up. And I know Julie's been doing some work with me in the group as well. And so it's, it's a great way to have one-on-one time with me with just 1 or 2 other people supporting you. All right, if there's no other questions, anything else people would like to know? Obviously, you can work with me one-on-one, but by doing this course, to signing up to the membership, it's like you get me one-on-one, plus you get the ability and the modules so that you can work on your own, because you can do tapping on your own, and then when you get stuck, then you can come and ask the questions and get the help that you need. So I'm glad you've all enjoyed that. Thank you for everybody for coming and being here. Obviously, you can ask me any more questions. My email, info@kbailey.com, if you've got some questions you'd like to ask. Otherwise, I'll wrap it up there. Thank you, everybody. Bye.